What's going on? What's going on? I haven't done this in a while, so I thought I would, and I have a little free time. You know, things been going nonstop lately. So, what the heck? Thought I'd do some commentary because this was it was actually a good interview. Then I kind of have a lot I want to say about politics and how Christians view politics too. I'm gonna throw that in there, but because a lot of our views are kind of skewed when it comes to that, and just people in general, whether Christian or not. I hear a lot of Christians have different, crazy different beliefs when it comes to politics, and I thought this was a good interview to do commentary on while I express my thoughts at the same time. So, yeah, it's going to be going on YouTube as well as Rome. Let me see. I'm going to make that a little bigger here. Okay, so, yeah, I didn't want to make... All right, now we got it. Okay, without further ado, let's make this happen. Let's see what we got here. Okay.
American in U.S. history to win the presidential nomination of a major party. She's the first HBCU grad, making us proud. She's a Howard University alum. She's a member of the prestigious Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. Here she is in person, Madam VP, Kamala Harris. Madam VP, how you doing?
Thank you very well, Shannon. How you doing?
And this is this is one of my favorite interviews. So it's gonna go into a lot of different truths about your boy, the Don man. She gonna spit the same truths that I've often talked about on here. So, of course, Republicans like to lie and say things that aren't true and say it over and over and over and over, and hope that people believe it, which it is working because a lot of them do believe it. A lot of them do support Trump. A lot of them do think that Trump gave the stimulus package and all that kind of stuff. A lot of them do believe all this foolish, crazy, ridiculous talk. But hey, it's up to them. If you want to believe that stuff, if you want to believe that that nonsense, that rhetoric, oh yeah, I cannot do a video or a stream without this. Brought to you by Mountain Dew. But yeah, and they always say she doesn't know what she's talking about. She always talks in circles. I didn't see any of that here. So anybody wants to sit here and she always talks in circles and she doesn't know what she's talking about. She talks about a bunch of nothing. Not true. Allow me to keep demonstrating.
Extreme honor, privilege, and a pleasure to have you on Club Shay Shay. CJ, who's the producer here, when we started this journey, Madam VP, 4 years ago, celebrities, athletes, entertainers, influencers.
Yeah.
VPs and presidential hopefuls were on the bingo card. You're here, so I want to thank you very much.
I thank you.
When we have guests come on, Madam VP, we like to toast. And what I read on this card, you don't deserve this, you earned this. Being the first in so many areas. And you make us proud. I just want you to know you make us proud for what you've been able to accomplish. And we're 12 days away, and we hope you have an even greater accomplishment. So here's to continued success in everything you've done and everything that you will do.
Oh, bless you, and thank you. And to you, Shannon, to you for all the success and the voice you give to so many issues. Thank you for that.
Thank you very
And
much.
cheers to you.
Cheers.
And I'm not going to actually drink this because I might fall asleep. And I need to do this
I don't want you
with
to fall
Barack
asleep.
Obama this afternoon.
We don't want you to fall asleep.
So here we are. Cheers to everybody.
So before we get into the things that you want to do once you become president of the United States, I want to go back. When you found out when President Biden called you and said that he was no longer going to seek re-election, and you got that call, do you remember where you were and what you thought when you heard him say these words to you?
I do. So I was home. It was a Sunday afternoon. And
Yeah, I remember that day too. I figured when he dropped out he was going to endorse Kamala, but I had a feeling he wasn't going to finish his term. So, I had a feeling I know who was going to choose. I was kind of nervous when he said he was dropping out, but I felt good again when he said he was nominating her. So, and I'm not saying people say, "Oh, you just you're a Kamala fan." Not really. What I am is someone that cares more about the Constitution, and if I care about the country being ran properly. I care about having somebody in office that's not going to incite a riot and throw an adult temper tantrum because he loses. I care about somebody that's not going to sit there and try to overthrow the government, not sit down and negotiate and talk to Putin, not going to try to do deals overseas and try to take people's hard-earned money, not try to take money out of the hands of veterans, not try to take away health care and things like that. And then when you bring up these things, the Republicans say, "Oh, you're just depending on handouts." And what about the people that had to work all their life and need to have Social Security? What about those people? What about the ones that are actually disabled and have benefits? Or you're looking for handouts. Not everybody's looking for handouts. You have people that are in need of benefits and can't even get them. So it's not everybody that's looking for handouts. It's not about the handouts thing. It's about people being able to live a life. You got folks, you know what I'm saying? You go to these cities. I've seen videos where people are living under the streets. It ain't always their fault or stuff like that. If you got a job and you got stuff that you got going, it's really hard out here for a lot of people. And you can't sit there and say, "Oh, it's their fault." No. Not all the time. There's a lot of price gouging going on for these businesses. It's gonna come up in the interview. There's a lot of price gouging. There's a lot of all kind of stuff going on. So it's a lot of things to keep people on a certain level, and we know this. Can't sit here and pretend like that don't exist. We gotta stop. And people that suck off Trump, and I call it that. Yes, that's what because that's what it is. They suck off Trump, and you have Christians that demonize. You have the Christians because I'm Christian. You have the other Christians that demonize the Democratic Party, but reality, it's mainly we care mainly about everyone having equal rights. We care mainly about the Constitution being ran, the country being ran properly. And all the Republicans do is throw insults, call names, repeat the same lies over and over in hopes that you'll believe it. That's all they do. They talk about it. All 45 does, all Donald John does is talk about himself. Every campaign he does, every rally he does, everything he ever does, even on a debate, all he did was talk about himself. So that's what you want in the office, someone that talks about themselves all the time and has no interest in helping the people. If that's the kind of person you are, it is what it is, but be honest about it. Don't sit here and down other people and talk about other people because they vote Democrat, or you're not Christian, you're not a real believer because you vote Democrat. You're not. No, be honest about this. Just say you don't care about other people. Just say you're selfish. Just say you have no intention in other people getting help. You're against Medicaid. You're against other veterans getting the proper care they need. You're against people getting the proper medicine, the proper stuff they need when they're sick. They can't, going to the hospital and getting the proper care. You're against all of that. You're against equal voting opportunity because a lot of times we know certain elections were, but let's just say you're against equality. Let's just be honest and say that, or you're getting paid under the table for some kind of thing if you endorse Trump. Let's just admit it, because if you're sucking them off like that, either you're getting something out of it or you're just not that smart. And if you're believing these certain things that are just lies, he openly and blatantly incited a riot, and you're just gonna ignore that. The man is like this, but people don't want to admit that. They're people that support Trump, they're just gonna ignore that. He incited a whole riot. He got officers killed. He got people murdered. He wanted to hang people came there to hang the vice president. The only thing he had to say about it was, so what? He tried to set his own vice president up to be hung and killed. And everyone's just going to ignore that. Especially you got black people for Trump. How can you be... You see what I'm saying? They ignore all of that. But they're still sucking them off. They ignore all the horrible things, all the crimes he's committed. So it's not that I'm a Kamala Harris fan. I'm an American fan. I rather our Constitution be upheld versus, that craziness. Donald Trump's crazy. So if you want someone like that in charge, you want a crazy man in charge, try to overthrow the government, and y'all say, oh, he gave us that money for the pandemic. No, he didn't. But you're gonna find out who actually gave it to you further on in the interview. You'll find out it was not the freaking Republicans at all. They were fighting it. Okay, everything that y'all say, we had more money under Trump, that was because of the Democrats. The president don't do anything. They don't make any laws. It's the Democrats. So y'all live and depend on the Democrats, but when y'all don't need them anymore, y'all cast them out. You tear the country up, and then you bring the Democrats back in to fix everything. And then you tear it back up again, then you bring the Democrats back in to fix it. That's how y'all been doing. Oh, Donald Trump, he gave us all the money. We had money with him. No, you had money when Nancy Pelosi and the other Democrats in office helped you sign off on that stuff. When they pushed that, when they was pushing the issue, you got money from Nancy Pelosi. It was not Donald Trump. All he did was sign off, put his name on there. That's all he ever done, was take credit for everything Obama did in office. All they did was take credit for Democrats. Y'all live off the Democrats. You live off of them. Oh, I had money when the economy was better. You live off of them, but you give the credit to the Republicans. That's weak. That's just weak. That's weak. That's how you want to live and do. Because that's just weak, man. You gotta deal in honesty.
My niece, her husband, and their 2 young daughters were visiting and staying with us. And I promised the kids I'd have pancakes and bacon and everything.
Okay.
And then after that, I had a puzzle for the kids, and we were sitting down to do the puzzle.
Okay.
And the phone rang. And it was President Biden. And so that's when he told me. And it was obviously life-changing in so many ways. But, I have to tell you, Shannon, I at that moment, I knew what it would mean, but not in the detail of it, but I certainly understood the seriousness and the gravity of the moment. Mm-hmm. And actually, one of the first people I called was my pastor. Wow. Okay. I knew I needed a moment to just be still, and for my spirit and my mind to have clarity about the seriousness of the moment and my role. Mm-hmm. And I'll never forget that call or that moment or that day.
Your life instantaneously changed in that moment.
Yes, it
because
did.
Now all of a sudden you weren't going to be running, you weren't going to be the VP anymore. You were going to be front and center. And you knew what the undertaking, having been 4 years as the vice president, what that moment would mean. Mm-hmm.
I had a sense of it, like so many of us, when you this is your life, right? So,
and a lot of people too, they say, oh, she hadn't done anything. She didn't do anything as vice president. Y'all sound dumb too. Vice president has no authority to do anything. Only thing she could do is take over if the president can't do anything. She assumes the duty of the president when he's not in office, or if he dies or something, whatever happens. She has no authority to do anything. She may have some voting power and all that kind of stuff, but she can't change any law. She has no presidential authority. So for y'all to say, oh, she's been in office 4 years and hadn't done anything, That shows the lack of education y'all have. That shows that y'all understand nothing about politics. You got Christians saying that. If you are a Christian, you say you're a believer, and you talk like that, just stick to the Bible. Because I'm a Christian, but you make us look bad, okay? We gotta have, if we're gonna be religious and be in the faith, we gotta at least have some intelligence to go with it. We cannot be religious and dumb, okay? I need more people representing the faith to actually have some sense, some education about themselves, to understand how politics work. Because you need the legislative branch, the senators and all that stuff, the judges. You need the vote for those people, because that's who makes the laws and makes the changes and all that. The president can veto, but just voting the president in won't change anything. If you got a Democrat in there, but you got majority of Republicans in office, they're gonna fight everything that Democrat does. Oh, Barack Obama didn't do anything. He was fighting the whole 8 years he was in there. He was fighting the Republicans because the Republicans had the majority in the Senate, House of Representatives. Those votes are the ones that really help. It's good to have a right president, but you also have to have the Senate, House of Representatives, because you got grimy people in the Senate, House of Representatives. You're still not going to get anywhere. They tried to shut the government down because Obama would not let them get. They tried to take away the benefits of the veterans. They tried to take away the health care and all that stuff. They threw a temper tantrum and shut the government down when Obama wouldn't let them do it. Every time they don't get their way, they throw a temper tantrum and they shut the government down. They act like little whiny crybabies. But that's who we vote for. That's who y'all want to put in office. Donald Trump is a whiny crybaby. He's a liar. He's a con artist. But y'all put him in. Y'all want him in office. He's a criminal. A scummy, schemy businessman. He schemed thousands of people with the Trump University. You want him in office. Oh, he's a Christian. He's a God-fearing man. He said out of his own mouth that he wasn't Christian. But y'all fall for it. Y'all get suckered in every single time. I want to vote for someone that's a believer. Another point I wanted to make. Politics is secular. That's what you need to understand. Just like business. Just like having a restaurant. When you go to a Chinese restaurant, you don't care if those people are Christian or not. You don't care if they are or not. Now, that's why I'm making this video. I got something for the people that are believers that want to support stuff like this. Anti-Christian stuff. You don't care if your food is the people that cook your food in those restaurants is Christian or not. No. You just want your food to come out right. If your house is on fire, you don't care if the fireman is Christian or not. No. You just want him to put out the fire. You don't care. When you go in and you're in school trying to get your degree, you don't care if your professor is Christian or not. No, you're just trying to get an A in that class and pass that class so you go to the next one. You don't care if the person that shake your hand when you get your degree, oh, you're not a Christian, I don't want to shake your hand, I want to graduate. No, you won't say that. You won't do that. No one does that. You don't care if you got a flat tire, somebody come to change your tire on the side of the road. You don't care if they're a Christian or not. All you want is your tire changed. You just want it done right. You don't care if they're Christian or not. Those are all secular situations. You don't care. Your favorite football team, basketball team, baseball team. You don't care if they believers or not. You just want them to win. You don't care. So let's stop. Let's stop acting like if they're not Christian, they can't do a good job of running the country. They can cook a good hamburger. If you have a plumbing problem, if you need open heart surgery, and you need it now, you don't care if the doctor is a Christian or not. You just don't care. All you want is him to do the job and do it right. You just want him to have the credentials that he need to have to do the open heart surgery. So we got to stop this nonsense. Oh, yeah, he's not a believer, so she's not a believer. She's not a Christian. Y'all use that on y'all try to, every time somebody that come and trying to help people, you use that excuse. Oh, they're not a believer. He's not following the Christian guidelines. Neither is Trump. He opened out of his mouth, he's not Christian. He held the Bible upside down. He came out with his own Bible. Put the Constitution and all that crap in there. He said he's not Christian. He called Christians suckers to their face, and they still sucking them off. Now, like I said, I'm Christian, but Christians that suck him off and that say dumb stuff make us look bad. That's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm addressing it like this, because you have Christians that say they say they vote for Trump because they're Christian. But he's done some of the most anti-American, anti-Christian things. So if you're supporting those things, you don't look at what he's doing, you're going on what somebody else told you. Instead of actually looking at the stuff that he's actually doing, it don't even take much research. All you got to do is everything he does is live on the air. Everything he says is live on the air. It's been debunked. No, he said it out of his own mouth. So how can that's just craziness. Oh, it's been debunked. No, it hasn't. The stuff that he said out of his mouth, stuff we've seen him do. So if you want to go around saying that Trump is an upstanding, God-fearing man, you're all twisted and screwed up. You're just doing this to support him for some odd reason. And in my mind, I'm going to start thinking you're just as twisted and psychotic as he is. That's what I'm going to start thinking. Oh, it's kingdom. No, it's not kingdom. No, it's not kingdom. I got to take this real quick. All right. Yeah, I've learned you shouldn't do recordings. Shouldn't put your phone conversations in your recordings, because people could use that against you. Anyway, back to what I was saying. You gotta stop saying things that make no sense. It absolutely makes no sense. But political is secular, so that's what we got to understand. You just want the country ran right. You want people to have equal opportunities. You want people to have to be treated equally. You don't want black people to go to jail for 30 years for the same crime that white people go to jail, get probation for. You don't want that going on. But that's the Christian way, isn't it? No, that's the conservative way. Okay? That's the conservative way. And you have to understand a lot of things that are being supported on the Republican end are like anti-American and anti-Christian stuff. It's dictatorship type behavior. And yeah, so let's continue this. I mean, it's a lot of things I wanted to say, but yeah, I'll spatter it out through all of this.
There are those moments where your instinct kicks in, sometimes before your conscious mind and thoughts do.
Right.
And my instinct kicked in immediately that I need to focus and I need to do certain things immediately, which included making, I think we estimated I made over 100 calls that day. My team, and I have an incredible team, all came in, and nobody expected, right? It was a Sunday afternoon.
Correct.
In fact, we actually joked who had taken a shower that day, because people came in their workout clothes,
Right.
different people, and a bandana around their head, just and came in, and we then, for hours and hours, well into the night.
Did you tell them? Did you tell them why you had summoned them to come to your place? Did you give them that news, or were you waiting for them to get there to share that news with them?
Well, so the news started to, as you
leak
can
out.
imagine, pretty much immediately,
It was already viral at the time, so yeah.
and
It was already viral.
But of the many blessings that I have and have had, one of them is an incredible team of people around me. You know what that's like,
Yes.
where they're just there, and they will rise to a moment, and no matter how high that moment is, or meaning how serious it is. And what I love, and it's certainly my own work ethic, that there is no job too small or too big, if there's something that needs to get done.
So, although you have a huge role now, what's a typical day like for you now once you've been thrust into this? What time are you normally getting to bed? What time are you getting up? And
There is no bed. She probably can't even spell bed right now. She probably forgot how hers looked.
what's some of the activities that you do in a given day?
I'd probably estimate 14-hour, 15-hour days.
Okay.
When I wake up, no matter how little sleep or how much,
Let me show you how we do stuff around here. Actually, my department uses Monday.com, so I'm good. A work management tool.
Don't care.
sleep I've had, I work out every morning.
Okay. Okay.
Because
Yes.
it's like mind, body, and spirit, right? And then and that's the only time of my day I really own. And then it is these days it's not unusual for me to be in 3 or even 4 cities in one day. Rallies with thousands of people, 10,000 people showing up, making.
Me, I have big numbers in my rallies. Mine are way bigger than hers. I believe she's paying people. That's probably what he's saying. But anyway, meanwhile, his rallies, people are getting up and walking out of his rallies. They're just getting up and walking out, and his rallies are like on the front floor. He can't even fill up a school gymnasium now. So, and then he owes money to all the other people, all the other places he's done rallies at. He still owes them money. So he's just scummy, man. He's just a scumbag. But he's a believer. He's a Christian, man. He's a believer. He's a believer. God and guns. That's what y'all want. Y'all want a dictator. He said he'd be a dictator for a day. He wished he could be a dictator. He tried to be a dictator. Not only did he say it, that's been debunked. No, he literally tried to do it. He tried to throw out the votes. He threatened government officials to shred votes. He tried to be a dictator. But you still, no, that's not what he wanted. Okay. You continue to be a moron all you want. He literally tried to do it in front of your face. If someone that previously tried to attack you say they will attack you, they didn't mean it. They jumped on you and almost killed you before. If they say they're going to attack you again, it took 5 people to get them off of you. Then they come back a week later, I'm going to attack you. They didn't mean it. They didn't really mean it. That's y'all. He didn't mean that. He literally tried to do it. He had several people killed. He tried to have his vice president murdered. You're not going to believe that. No, that's not true. That's not true. He didn't do that. Okay. Sure.
Calls to folks. Just now I landed in Atlanta, the mayor of Atlanta, who greets me every single time. So I'll talk with elected leaders who are supportive about, so for example, here in Atlanta, What do we need to do to make sure that we're giving folks the resources to knock on doors and remind folks of the power of their voice?
And that they need to vote. Please vote, and just not vote. Just not sit around when it comes time for election. Vote for the judges. Vote for the local officials. Vote for the senators. Vote for the mayor. All of that. You have to vote for everything. Can't just vote for the president. Everybody. This is what y'all need to know. Don't just vote for the president and say, "Oh, I'm staying home." I see a lot of, you know how many preachers I saw too saying they were staying home because she only she supports homosexuality, and she supports she's for abortion rights, and she supports homosexuality, so they're going to stay home. They're not going to vote. You know how many people died so we can vote? And these are black leaders, by the way. You know how many black people and other races and women gave their lives so we can vote, and we're sitting at home not voting because of pettiness, of stuff we've been told. I'm not saying, you know what I'm saying? See, the state is secular. The Constitution, all that, those are secular. That's a secular thing. So I put it like this too. If you had a mechanic that was fixing your car, he did a darn good job, but then years later you find out he was homosexual or whatever. What does it matter? Just like I found out one of my favorite voice actors, Kevin Conroy, was LGBT. So what? He played a darn good Batman. I mean he's a voice actor. He's not a pastor. So it doesn't matter. Who cares?
And 12 days in, it really is a lot about trying to focus on getting folks to know their power, to not let anybody suppress or silence their voice, and to vote.
Right. So breakfast. What does Madam VP eat for breakfast, or do you have time to, or is it on the go?
No, I when I was younger, I didn't think I needed breakfast. I wasn't a breakfast eater.
Okay.
Now I have breakfast every morning. It's usually a spinach omelet. It's not very exciting.
Right.
Spinach omelet. That sounds. I've eaten them before. They're not my favorite, but I've eaten them before. I prefer the ham and stuff in there, the cheese, ham, and the fixings, the onions, and all that stuff. But hey.
But it's protein with a little vegetable.
Sometimes.
And I
gotta do what you gotta do, man.
Sausage and some toast, and then I'm gone.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
You're a couple of years older than myself, so we kind of grew up in the
Hey.
80s. But I'm only 35.
Come on now, I'm your guest.
No, but you only 30. But we grew up.
But just keep moving, because I'm gonna give you a shovel in a minute.
I see. You won't let it go. Dang. We could have just moved on past that real quick, but you drew attention to it. But we grew up in the 70s when music went in fire. Ohio players.
Oh yes, fire. Come on.
Oh, you were like fire.
Come on.
Okay.
Dun, dun, dun,
Yes.
dun, 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 dun.
Yes. What do you listen to now?
Oh, I wish I were listening to more music, to be honest with you, because I love it. Just, but
you don't
when
have
I
downtime, like when you have downtime.
I don't have any downtime really.
Ain't no downtime, man. She's running for president. What is downtime? What's that?
I know my little violin I'm playing right now with you. I really don't. But when I love jazz.
Mm-hmm.
If it's
Jazz is dope.
Thelonious Monk to Miles Davis. Mm-hmm. I love Aretha. I was just with Stevie.
Right.
Stevie's. Can I tell you?
Yes, you can.
Bucket list. Stevie Wonder on my birthday sang me "Happy Birthday."
Happy
birthday to me.
Oh my.
Can you imagine?
No.
I was literally. It was surreal. Can you?
Oh, but she talks in circles. She has no personality. She doesn't. She talks like she's kind of off. I don't see any of that here, though. I've seen none of that. Everything so far has been perfect sense. She sounds like an actual person. Oh, they take clips. Y'all take clips of her in mid-sentence, and cut it off and make it seem like she's saying things that don't make any sense. Or she's just concerning. No, y'all are doing that. Y'all know what y'all are doing when y'all do that. Y'all take clips that make her sound awkward and all of that. When she's that's the tactic of Republicans. When Donald Trump does it, you don't need clips to do his. You just pull up a whole rally of his. You can just pull up a whole speech of his. Talking about people eating cats and dogs. You could just pull up a whole speech. You don't have to clip Donald Trump to make him sound like he has no sense. To make him sound like he's saying nonsense. You have to piece and clip and cut off her stuff short and do all this crazy stuff to make it sound like she makes no sense when she talks. I understand everything she says, but with Donald John, you have to piece it and clip it and all that other crap. With Kamala Harris, I mean, when you're dealing with Kamala, when you're trying to make her sound like she doesn't know what she's talking about, you have to piece it together and clip it and spin it and twist it and turn it upside down. You don't have to do that with Donald John, because everything he says is idiotic. Y'all know I ain't afraid to say nothing.
Bucket list moment,
Right.
when Stevie Wonder himself sings you happy birthday.
As an 18-year-old,
Yeah.
could you imagine
Never.
your life would have been like this?
Never.
This many years
Never.
later?
And let me tell you, my mother she had every Stevie and every Aretha Franklin record, every album, like literally every one of them. So
And this is why I'm playing the whole thing through on purpose. I'm doing it on purpose to show people, oh, she talks in circles. She doesn't make any sense. She just awkwardly laughs. That's why I do these things. There's a method to my madness. That's why I'm playing the whole thing, and ain't nothing you can do about it, unless you want to clip this too. But the whole the whole thing is gonna be everywhere. Probably be on Facebook. It's gonna be on YouTube. It's going on Rumble. It's probably gonna be everywhere. So you can do what you do. Have fun with it. Whatever floats your boat, though.
songs in the key of life, like all those Stevie songs that were about everything from the movement to optimism. I would have never, at 18, thought that he'd be singing me happy birthday. Ever. Never.
That's the least. But obviously everybody knows who Stevie is. He was a child prodigy, 13 years old, and he was doing great things. But to see, Madam VP, what you've been able to do, you've had so many firsts. The first woman attorney general, African American, Asian American descent. You was the DA of San Francisco. You were the first Indian American U.S. senator.
And second black woman ever in the history of the United States Senate elected. Second in the history of the United States Senate.
Have you had an opportunity to sit back and reflect?
Oh, she does all this, but, she's not qualified. She's not worried. She doesn't need to be in there. She's okay. Yeah, all right.
It's like, wow. But work is not yet done.
That's more where I am. The work is not done. The work is not yet done. There's so much to do. To your point, being in the Senate, there is a weight of responsibility that I know we all feel, right? When we have been blessed with an experience that allows us to be a role model.
Right.
And to hopefully inspire people and to remind them of what's important or point out the things that need to be addressed. So, for example, as only the second black woman elected to the United States Senate, I took on a real role of leadership around black maternal mortality, which affects black women and affects their spouses, their husbands, their families, their children. And I feel a sense of responsibility and a very strong duty to make sure that I use my voice and in a way that is about lifting up people who have not always been in the room.
Hello, America. Mr. States and Shape stepped out for some Black Ops 6, but I'm here as his replacer. Let's start with Texas, shall we? Well, I think this is, woo! Ha! Things are moving here. Oh, I can go. Oh, there. Yep. Yeah, that's all for today, folks.
How funny.
If you could speak to your 18-year-old self, what would you tell her?
If I could speak to my 18-year-old self,
Prepare for a life with no downtime and spinach omelets. Yeah, just prepare for those things. And to be ridiculed and for people to do videos of you pretending to be awkward. I mean, pretending like you're awkward when they're really just clipping out stuff and just clipping out random moments where you laughed and stuff. Just prepare for all of that. Because they don't want you to be president because they're so focused on putting Donald Trump in there. Yeah, prepare for all of that.
I would probably tell her, continue to keep your friends. You know, my best friend from kindergarten is still one of my best friends.
What?
Yes.
Y'all made it to the first grade as best friends?
Yes. In fact, she's been out knocking on doors in North Carolina just this last week for me. Wow. I would say, you know, hold on to that, which is your friends are so important. Your family is so important. I would probably encourage myself at 18 to remember that you have a lot of people who are supporting you even if they don't know you. You know, that's what I mentor a lot of people, Shannon. So this is what I'm really reflecting on, which is what I tell the young people I mentor, including to know that even when you are in that room and you're the only one who looks like you or who has had your life experience, to know you are not alone in that room and that you must therefore walk in that room, chin up, shoulders back, knowing we're all there applauding you. When I mentor young women and men, I remind them that you are often going to be told, well, it's not your time, not your turn, you're too young, nobody like you has done this before. And I tell them, you know, don't you ever listen to that.
Yeah, I ain't never did it before. Well, we guess you can't do it. No. What about all the people that... So, I've never done it before. It's never a good excuse. Because how are you gonna accomplish something if you use that excuse? No one's ever done it before, or I've never done it before. I mean, somebody should do it, don't you think?
I like to say I eat no for breakfast. I don't hear no. You ask me what I eat for breakfast? I eat no for breakfast. I don't hear it.
Right.
And that's part of what are my life lessons that I try to share with young people, to remind them that you cannot ever be burdened by other people's limited ability to understand who you are. Like, don't let their limited ability burden you.
Oh, she's talking nonsense. Oh, no. She sounds awkward. If you have Donald Trump on an interview, all he'll talk about is himself. All he'll talk about is how he was screwed over out of the election, how they took the election from him. Even after he admitted he lost the election. Then he turned right back around. If I lose, then the election's rigged. Okay.
About your own ability, you know?
Madam VP, you were raised by a single mom. What did that experience tell you about your mom, and what did it tell you about you?
Well, it told me that one of the things that is precious is to build community and family. Okay. Like my mother, she understood that there is a community that she wanted her children to be raised in. And she was very intentional and purposeful about that. And so I always say to people, even when I took the stage as the nominee for the Democratic nomination, that, you know, there is the family that you have by birth, and there is also the family you have by love. And they're equally family, yes. Right? And I learned that from my mother. So my mother, I had all these aunties and uncles. My Uncle Sherman, who was one of the first black men to graduate from Berkeley School of Law, who, when we were young girls, sat us down and taught us how to play chess, because Uncle Sherman said, you need to understand how the chessboard works because that's the way the world works. They're going to be
Pretty much. That's true. I need to learn how to play chess myself. I used to play, but I gotta go back to it.
different players with different moves, and you need to see the whole board. My mother raised us around, like my Auntie Chris, who went to Howard in the 50s and pledged Alpha Kappa Alpha. And she was one of my incredible role models growing up. And that was one of the big reasons I wanted to go to Howard University and pledge Alpha Kappa Alpha. Those are some of the lessons that I've learned from my mother. And I try to also share with people, right? Which is the beauty of community. And it's the way I am, right? Which is, you know, the children in my life.
No.
Whether they be my own or, you know, my godchildren or whomever, right? That it's a collective responsibility that we have.
Did you know you were different? I mean, were there a lot of people in the community that looked like you or like your mom? Or did your mom tell you were different?
Well, my mother taught us to, and everyone in my growing up, you know, they would tell all of us kids that we were special. I don't think we were particularly special.
Probably wasn't, but you have to make yourself. It's all about what you make yourself. All about what you do. Because you could, being special, that's a choice. You know, that's what I'm learning. It's a choice. You could be ordinary, or you can, you know. Some people do stand out now. You got some that's giants. You got some that's incredibly gifted. You got some that, you know, some people are do some amazing things. You got some people that's incredibly smart, you know. So I can admit that some people were made to stand out. So I think there are some that are special, and some that are just part of the. You could just be part of society. You got some that are special. You know, a lot of people are average. Most people are average, but you gotta want some that excel, that are special. So yeah, but actually, most people are average. So that's what that is. But anyways, I'm trying to see where my favorite part where they started talking about Donald John. I think it's a little further down, but we're going to get to it, though. We're going to get to it. Don't worry about that. We're going to get to it.
Right.
But they told us we were, and we believed them.
Yes.
We believed them. I think that's such an important part of what we can all do for the children.
That's just motivation. That's all it is.
And, you know, but my mother raised 2 black girls to be proud black women. Back to music, one of the soundtracks from my childhood was, you know, You Are Young, Gifted, and Black. You know? And that's what it was.
I'll get the phone number later. And we're back, America.
If you want to watch that,
Yes.
watch the whole interview. If you want
with that loss.
to watch that,
Grief is difficult.
we skipping all that here.
It's difficult. You know, there are 2 sides to the coin. About
Don't
when
like it,
you
deal with it.
have relationships in your life that touch you deeply, and then to lose that person, it leaves a big void, right?
does.
That's the 2 sides. And I think that part of what I was just talking about this, but the big part about grief is, especially if you lose somebody to a sickness, to an illness, I think it's really important that you try to remember them as they lived and not as they died.
Right.
Because I think that's how they want us to remember them, but also to remember their suffering, which hopefully was a fraction of their time on this earth, is to compound the grief in a way that I think it adds to the pain. And what they'd want is that their active memory, that our active memory of them is about when they were vibrant and alive. So
Let's get into things that will change what will happen if you were to become president, say in the next 12 to 13.
I think that's it's the part. We had the good part. So yes. The moment we've been okay. No more. I thought my phone was finna ring, but yeah, but I don't want no more distraction. But the moment we've been waiting for, yeah, it's the good part here.
Days. Polls suggest that voters trust President Trump, former President Trump.
But like I said, I'm playing the whole thing because people, oh, she doesn't know what she's talking about. She's talking in circles. You're so you can't say I'm on the side of somebody that just talks and sounds awkward. And I'm not just taking clips out. So yeah, take that.
More on the economy. What can you tell the voters, our viewing audience, our listening audience, that if you were to become president, wow, Madam VP Kamala Harris will be much better on the economy than what President Trump was?
Well, so I'm really glad you brought that up, Shannon. So first of all, let's clear up certain myths.
Okay.
You know those checks that went out?
Yes. Those skimmies?
Right.
The Democrat stimmies.
Right.
Stimulus check.
Yeah, I know. Well, right. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
We got to be for stimulus, but they call them stimmies. Okay.
The reason those came about is because there was a Democratic majority in the House of Representatives and
Exactamundo.
Congress.
Mm-hmm.
People like Maxine Waters, people like Hakeem Jeffries,
Factual.
right?
Yes.
Who did the work of pushing to say, people need help right now and we
Nancy Pelosi. Get them.
need to send out checks. There was a whole lot of opposition to it, including from Donald
From Donald John. Yes, Donald Trump fought it.
Trump's White House.
Yes. Even him. I think he was
And
resistant to it at first.
yeah.
He fought it, guys. So for y'all people to say I had more money under Donald Trump, you're lying. The only reason you had more money under Donald Trump is because the Democrats was making sure y'all got that money. The Democrats made sure y'all got the money, but y'all turn around and call them demonic, but they helping y'all, they giving y'all, they doing everything they can for y'all. But you call them demonic. Oh, they're evil people. They're horrible. But you take their money, though. Give them their money back then if they so horrible. Give them their money. Get all them checks that y'all got, give it back to them. All the money you had in your pocket under Trump, even though it was the Democrats that was fighting, make sure y'all got it. Get that money back. Give all that money back to the Democrats. If you believe that they so horrible and demonic, give it back to them.
Yes. That's why those checks, remember, Congress holds the purse.
Yes.
So really, Congress wrote those checks, but then Donald Trump
Put his name on the check. Like he took credit for what they did.
unlike any president before or after, decided he put his name on those checks.
So therefore, people thought.
So people thought Donald Trump, they gave me that check.
It wasn't Donald Trump. It was Congress. It was the Democrats. Now you hear it. Now you hear it. Now you know I'm not just making it up. Everything I said before, I'm not making it up. I don't make things up. I have stuff to support it. I ain't gonna say it without having things to support it. So I don't just go out and start talking. No, you always have something to back it up. And she was in the White House when all this was going on. She was. You know what I'm saying? She was in the White House on January when they stormed the Capitol. She was there. When all this stuff was going on, she was an official. So, okay. All she everything she say about Trump is the truth. Now you want to believe lies and stuff that when all he do is talk about himself. He never say how he gonna help people. Never say what he gonna do for the people. I mean, hey, you want to support that by all means, go for it.
And so let's clear that up first and foremost,
Okay.
but let's also deal with where he was in terms of his policies on the economy. He gave the biggest tax cuts for billionaires and the biggest corporations,
Exactamundo, he did that. He sure did.
which caused an incredible deficit.
Yes, he sure did that, and it caused a huge deficit. I had more money under Trump.
He tried to get rid of the Affordable Care Act, which we also call Obamacare.
Trump is a God-fearing man, even though he tried to take all our Medicaid away, all the health benefits. He didn't want us to have any health benefits, but he's a God-fearing Christian man.
which benefited so many people, including and in particular black people in America who otherwise were denied by the insurance companies health coverage because of pre-existing conditions.
Yes, that's most important.
Yep, but he's an equal man. He's an equal opportunity man.
Let the people know.
Right?
With a Affordable Care Act, if you have a pre-existing condition, insurance companies can no longer deny you coverage.
That's exactly right. And if you think about what that means in the context of also knowing the big health disparities we have in the black community,
Right.
and how more likely, therefore, black folks might be to have
You can't have you can't get in there. You can't have the health insurance if you're a black man. But he's not prejudiced. No, he loves black. He's done more for black people than anybody. Don't say that about him. Don't you say that. No, don't say that. He's done more for black people than any other president.
existing conditions.
Blood pressure, diabetes,
all of
certain
that.
cancers.
All of that.
Yes.
Asthma for our children.
Yes. Sickle cell trait.
It's all of that. So by getting rid of
But you can't have the health. If you got all of that, you can't get health care. You wouldn't have been able to get health care if he would have had his way. But he's done more for black people.
the pre-existing condition ban.
He's a God-fearing Christian man. You can't say nothing about him. He's a God-fearing Christian man.
That did, but he wanted to get rid of the Affordable Care Act.
Right.
What we have done, and part of my policies going forward include what we need to do to not only retain the cap that we got on insulin at $35 a month for seniors. By the way, black folks are 60% more likely to be diagnosed with diabetes.
Right.
He wants to get rid of it with that Project 2025.
And she's talking in circles. She's not making any sense. Makes perfect sense to me. Sounds like she's the smart one and he's the idiot. That's what it sounds like to me now. I'm not supposed to say that, but I said it anyway, because who cares?
Everybody needs to check that out. What he would do to get rid of Social Security, or at least raise the age to 70, so you'd have to work to 70 till.
You got to work to 70 years. He wanted you to have to work to 70 years old to get to retire. But he loves the people. He's done more for us than anybody. He's an excellent man.
To be able to qualify,
Right.
get rid of Medicare, get rid of the Affordable Care Act, and that's just on health policy, not to mention bringing back not only tax cuts for the richest people, but what he would do that is about eliminating or reducing the ability of corporations to be required to pay overtime pay
So you could work and the corporations wouldn't have to pay you for it.
for overtime.
Who work for free?
That's right. And overtime means you are actually working a longer day, which means you are more tired.
Right.
Which means it requires more exertion. That's why we have overtime pay. So you don't take advantage of workers. In addition to all of
You see?
that, we're looking at Donald Trump, basically somebody who has never been understanding of the issues that.
Oh, she doesn't answer questions when people ask her questions. She doesn't answer the questions. She never answers the questions. Okay.
that affect the community about disparities. And I'm going to talk, for example, about how when he was a landlord, he denied rent to black families.
No, don't say that. He loves black people. He would never do that. Y'all still want to suck him off?
You look at what he did in terms
Y'all slobbing his knob. Y'all still want to do it? Y'all still want to do the Donald Trump dance? Do the hokey pokey?
of taking out a full-page ad in the New York Times against the Central Park Five, which were a bunch of, they're not young adults, they were teenagers, black and brown teenagers. Took out a full-page ad in the New York Times calling for their execution for crimes they did not commit. They were innocent. Donald Trump, who said of the first black president of the United States, the birtherism, to have people question whether he was born in the United States, to try and diminish. And then most recently, you look in this very election, legal black immigrants in Springfield, Ohio, saying they're eating their pets. So
He said it about black people. He said it about black people, boys and girls. Oh, but we still have but you got black people, black men and women still want to support and vote for Trump. And he said this. He said all kind of horrible things about black people. He said all kind of horrible things about Christians. He mocks Christians on a regular. He says horrible things about black people. He says black jobs. What is a black job, ladies and gentlemen? What is a black job? Can someone explain to me what a black job is? I've never heard of one forever in my life. I've never heard of a black job before. Donald Trump probably knows what one is, because he's the one who said it. But you still have black people sucking him off. I'm not understanding why. Would you vote for someone that regularly mocks you and talks about you like a dog every time they have a mic in their hand? But you want to support them. Oh, make him president. He's going to make America great again. You need your head examined.
Part of what we have to help people understand is don't think you're in Donald Trump's club. You're not.
Right.
You'll never be in his club. You're still going to be the N-word when he's done with you. You can vote him in. You can vote him in office. You're still going to be the N-word. He doesn't care about you. He doesn't care about anybody but himself.
He's not going to be thinking about you. You think he's having you over for dinner? You think that when he's with his buddies, his billionaire buddies, he's thinking about what we need to do to deal with addressing, for example, my work around what I'm doing to address disparities in black men's health, around colon cancer, around what we need to do around screenings, what we need to do around prostate cancer. Black men are twice as likely to have, and screenings. What we need to do to address.
I'm a survivor of prostate cancer.
Right. You know what I'm talking about.
Go James and the Lakers are back putting on a show, and you know I got to get the best deal on tickets. That's why I need to tell you about my sponsor, SeatGeek. With the economy seems to be heading in the
we're gonna skip it.
This is why I stopped shopping on Amazon.
So we skip all ads over here.
Don't spend another dime on Amazon until you watch this.
No.
right direction, but the inflation, gas prices are extremely high, groceries are extremely high. This rent, I mean, it used to be when I was renting, they moved the rent up $40 a year. Now they moved it up $400.
So let's talk about that. I'm glad you raised that. So for example, groceries, yes, the prices are still too high. You know it, I know it.
Yeah.
Part of my plan is to deal with price gouging. I did it when I was Attorney General. I'm going to do it as president, which is these companies that will jack up the price.
She didn't do anything when she was president, when she was vice president. She didn't do anything. That's the only insult they have against her. She didn't do anything as vice president, which, I mean, duh, because she can't. If you really believe that should count against her, even though she has no power as a vice president, if you really believe that, there's something, you need to go back. You need to go read some stuff. You need to go back and look at some things. You need to look at the duties and responsibilities of the vice president. Y'all just say things and y'all don't know what it is. You don't even know what you're talking about. You just say stuff. Just say random things. You just say stuff that everyone else says. And it makes no sense whatsoever. It shows that you don't know what you're talking about. Y'all say things, don't know nothing about politics. Oh, the numbers. Yeah, okay.
Prices of groceries to take advantage of people in need, and in particular during a crisis like what you see around the pandemic or Hurricane Helene.
Yeah.
Exactly. The businesses are price gouging. It's not the president. The businesses, you have to deal with price gouging because it's the companies themselves that's doing that garbage. The companies choose to price gouge to take advantage of people.
Yes. Milton.
Right?
Yes.
Milton, right? So there's that. In terms of housing, first of all, we know that black families are 40% less likely to own their home. And we can go back to redlining. We can go back to policies that were by law or practice meant to not give black folks equal opportunity to home ownership, especially in certain neighborhoods. We can.
Oh, but black people are lazy. They don't want to do anything. They don't want to work. But you have things in place, literally in place, to literally hold them back, to literally stop most of them from getting where they need to go. All these in unrealistic expectations that no one else has. Oh, they're just lazy. They're not doing it. They can't get it. Why is that person not running so fast? But when you have a 100-pound weight strapped to their feet, how can they run as fast as the rest of them? They can't do it, can they? Exactly.
And go back to what happened around the GI Bill.
Yeah.
And when all the great generation, we call them, came back, and there was federal policy to say, you all fought for our country, we're going to give you a boost around helping you buy homes. But those black servicemen, and it was mostly men, those black servicemen did not. So you had then a time when there was a boost for, it ended up being not for black service members.
And what happened back then too, especially back in the day, like way back in the day, they gave them a they found a way to give them a dishonorable discharge in the military to keep them from getting all the benefits. They have these great things that they say they're doing, but they keep black people away from it and out of it. They have all these stipulations so that black people can't get it. Oh, you're looking for a handout. But the same people that say that are the ones that have the easier life. It's funny, isn't it funny, that the ones that have the easier life, that have privilege, tell black people that they just want handouts. But you had privilege. Or they just want handouts. They want somebody to give them something. You call it what you want. I call it survival. Trying to survive. If you grew up in an environment, no jobs, no education, no opportunities ever came your way, you got to get it how you live. A lot of environments are like that. There's nothing around. They won't let you put or do anything in the black neighborhoods. They won't let you do it. They have all kind of things against you doing it. So it's hard just to break through that ceiling. And not saying it's impossible. It's very possible. But when you have things in place to literally hold them back and hold them down, that's just not. No, that's unacceptable. And we know these things are out here, but we just ignore it. They should be able to get where they're going. You have some people that are black that are successful. Well, when you have something in place that's purposely in place to hold them back, no, not everyone's going to be able to jump over those hurdles, and they know this. So we got to stop playing make-believe. We got to stop pretending like everything is just. And no, I'm not playing victim card, because anything that people want, a lot of things that we want, we're getting it. You have a lot of black jobs, not black jobs, but you have a lot of black people that are in all the different realms of business. We're still taking over the sports industry. We still have the music. We still have, so a lot of black people in good positions and powerful positions. You have a lot of black people that are living good. So I'm not going to sit here. So it's not a victim card, but I'm saying we have to acknowledge that there are things in place to hold black people back. We can't ignore that part. We can't ignore it. We can't just act like it's not there. Oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't. We have to acknowledge that it at least exists. Because if you don't acknowledge that it exists, how can you overcome it? How can you play the game if you don't know the rules? You have to know that the rules are set up against you in order for you to beat the game. In order for you to overcome those overwhelming odds, you have to know that certain things exist. You have to know that certain systems in place against black people in order for you to overcome that system, in order for you to meet all the guidelines that need to be met. You have to know that it exists. You have to at least know it's there. Not so you can play the pity game, but so you know how to maneuver. You have to know the rules. You have to know what's out there. Oh, it costs $300,000 to build a restaurant. Now you know what it takes to get it. It might not be like that for anyone else, but if that's your vision, You know what it takes to get it. It may be, it may not be fair. Yeah, it may be hard to overcome. Yeah, it may be all kind of obstacles. But if you are willing to do it, now you know what it takes at least. It's not to play victim, but it's to know what's out there, what's against you. You have to know how it works. You have to understand the whole ordeal.
So part of my policy is to, one, create a fund so that we will give a $25,000 down payment to first-time homeowners to just help people get in the door. We will deal with the rent issue, because part of what we're seeing in Atlanta, in places across our country, is these corporations are buying up all these properties, which means then that they don't have to deal
That is factual. That's factual. Absolutely facts.
with competition between the properties, and they're jacking up rent costs. So it's about also going after that corporate gouging around what they're doing to buy up and then
Exactly.
jack up the prices of rent. We also need to help people with small business.
See, she knows the statistics. She knows what's going on. She knows what's out there. She's not using it. Perfect example. She's not saying it to play victim. This is how I plan on dealing with this. This is how I'm going to deal with this. This, all this is going on. I'm going to deal with it. If you don't know, you got to know what's out there. You got to know the problems and the statistics and what you're facing. You can't solve a problem unless you can identify it. You can't identify it, you can't solve it. Cause you don't know what you don't know what you're trying to solve.
Business ownership. I did, even before I was running for president, a tour. I called it the Opportunity Economy Tour, focused on black men and black entrepreneurs.
By the way, I might do a part 2 on this because I'm not gonna finish the whole thing. I'm just gonna I'm just wanting to get across certain points and stuff. But I'm gonna probably do part 2. I'm not gonna like I'm because I don't want to have a 3-hour stream or I'm gonna break it down.
What we know is, unlike Donald Trump, who got $400 million handed to him practically on a silver platter. And by the way, Shannon filed for bankruptcy 6 times. Everybody wants to say he's a great businessman. Take a look at his record. I know that so many of our entrepreneurs who have great ideas don't have access to capital, but they have serious work ethic, great ideas, and a plan to do the work. So part of my plan is to increase access to capital, including giving $20,000 forgivable loans for startup capital for people to buy the equipment.
Right.
And then to change the tax deduction, so whereas it is now $5,000, to make it $50,000 to start a new business, because nobody can start a new business on $5,000.
No, okay.
And the direct benefit, when we're looking at black entrepreneurs, is profound. And all it is about saying this: Americans in general, regardless of their race or gender, we have ambition, we have aspirations, we have dreams, but not everyone has access to the opportunity to let some actually accomplish that. I want to increase access to opportunity.
Factual.
Unfortunately, I've gone viral.
Factual. All that's factual.
To make sure Social Security benefits continue, because there are reports that it could possibly be depleted by 2033. And there are estimated that 11,000 people turn at least 65 years of age every single day.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do to make sure, because that, people, disability, retirement, survivors with beneficiaries, what are you going to do to make sure that?
Check this out. I'm going to show you how I afforded this card. Okay, you ready? All right, 108.
I don't care how you did it.
That continue.
By the way, I'm posting this on Rumble because I want to piss off the Trump blowers. The ones that suck Trump off on Rumble. Rumble is just one big right-wing Trump conservative rally now. That's all it is, just a bunch of commercials, just a bunch of Donald Trump ads, and a bunch of conspiracy theories. That's all it is. It's nothing else. Every ad on there is a Donald Trump ad. So I'm posting this on purpose just to piss them off.
So, Shannon, to your point, there was an independent economic review of Donald Trump's plan, which shows that Social Security in the next 6 years would be insolvent under his plan, meaning that it would not be able to pay out what hardworking people who deserve dignity in their retirement deserve. And as you and I both know, there are a lot of our seniors who their only source of income is that Social Security check. Right? It's the only way they're going to pay the rent or have food on the table. So my plan is about doing what we need to do to put the resources back into Social Security, but also expanding it. Because here's part of the problem with Social Security, is that for our aging seniors, if they are a couple, for example, and one of the spouses passes, that cuts their Social Security benefits almost in half. So part of my plan is to reconfigure it so that that surviving spouse does not then have a crisis where they've already lost their loved one. But we also just have to understand on a macro level, we've got to require that billionaires and corporations pay their fair share, right? They can afford to. And that's part of what is the difference between me and Donald Trump. My plan is about tax cuts for small businesses, for working people, for middle-class people. 100 million Americans will benefit around tax cuts. My plan is that no taxes will be raised for anybody making less than $400,000 a year. My plan is that we give young parents a $6,000 child tax credit to help them pay for child care.
That sounds now, and it's not saying that Democrats don't execute, because Democrats have gotten a lot of things done in the White House, just like the stimulus packages that we got. Like I said, it was under Democrats, like they said, under the Democrats. Democrats have gotten a lot of things done. They just don't get credit for it. They give all the credit to Republicans and Donald Trump and all of that. So it's a bunch of lies and things like that taking place. So that's why I'm glad that's why I'm glad that this lot of stuff is being cleared up publicly. We all knew the truth anyway. It's just you just have people that spread the lies to try to override the truth. But let's continue.
For a crib or a car seat, because you and I both know the vast majority of our young parents have a natural desire to parent their children well, but not always the resources.
Exactly.
And back to the way I was raised, I know that the children of the community are the children of the community. That you and I will benefit from that young family having the resources they need. So it's about all of us benefiting, but it's a state of mind and it's a perspective.
See, this thing about Democrats too. They desire to help everybody, equal opportunity for everybody. The thing about it, reason why people dump on Democrats, why Republicans dump on them, because they get you to vote for them so they could steal the money. All Republicans do when they're in office is steal money. That's all Donald John has ever done. He stole from all. He got in the Republican Party and stole the money. They're just schemy, slimy businessmen now. Conservative. They're just greedy. The only thing that conservatives care about is themselves. The name speaks for itself. Conservative. They only care about themselves. They don't care about anybody else. They don't care about helping anybody. They don't care about if you're a person in need, you're just looking for a handout. Get it yourself. But you keep certain people from getting jobs. You keep certain people from having access to business funds and all that kind of stuff. Oh, the billionaire, they get all kind of, other people from different nationalities, ethnic groups, they get grants and all kind of other funding to start businesses. They get extra support that we don't get as African American, as black people. Put it like that, as black people. We don't get those types of fundings and all that access to that stuff. We don't get the same access. We get things thrown at us to hold us back, to keep us out of the game. But they get the help. They get pushed forward. So we get a bunch of fines and different money, fees and fines thrown at us to give us a hard time, so we get discouraged. They make us spend a whole bunch of money just to get started. So that's what I'm talking about. They make it so hard for you to where most people won't even be able to have the mindset to do it. when other ethnic groups don't even have to have the right mindset to get it up there, because they get a lot of help from other resources. They get so much help, and they get so much funding and grants and all this other stuff. So anytime someone talks about trying to help make equal opportunity so everyone can have a chance to make it or to do the things that they want to do, oh no, they're just giving out handouts. But actuality, it's really not like that. The people that say, like I said, the people that say that are the ones getting the most handouts. No one gets more handouts than white privilege. You can say what you want. They get more handouts than anybody, than people on welfare.
Perspective. Mine is about thinking about the challenges people face and getting them help. Donald Trump is full-time focused on himself. You watch his rallies. He will spend full-time talking about, I was going to say Freddy Krueger, Hannibal Lecter. Might as well be Freddy Krueger. Hannibal Lecter. Mm-hmm. He'll spend full-time talking about his grievances, about what everyone has done to him. He'll talk about himself, but he does not talk about the American people. He does not talk about what...
I do care about the American people. I told you I'm going to build a wall. I'm going to make it greater than everyone. I'm not going to pay for it. I'm going to make Mexico pay for the wall. I'm going to build a wall. America's going to be great again. I'm going to fire everyone that's not doing it. And the election was rigged. It was stolen from me. But I'm going to make sure this year, if I win, then America's great. But if I don't, if I lose, then the election is rigged. It's rigged, and I'm going to call them out. I'm going to go in and call everyone out. If I win, I'm going after everyone that came against me last time, even Biden. Yes, he has to go too. He has to go too. Because I can't have that in my White House. I'm going to pardon everyone that inside that rioted with me. Everyone. No. Everyone that came out to support me. The day the Capitol, when you came out to the Capitol, I'm going to give you a pardon. You're good patriots. You did not incite a riot. We can't say that. We cannot say that for the American people. They cannot hear that. But people act like he's just so upstanding, man. I just like, I don't know. I like trolling idiots. I don't know what's wrong with me. People that aren't able to think for themselves. I'll put it like that. You're not idiots. You just can't think for yourselves. You go off what someone tells you instead of actually thinking for yourself and doing and actually looking at, seeing the writing on the wall. Seeing things for what they are.
What he's going to do for middle class. He does not talk about what he's going to do for families, for working people.
I told you what I was going to do. I was going to give tax breaks to the rich, and I was going to take the money from the middle class and the working class. I'm going to take their health care, going to take all their benefits, going to take Social Security, give all the money to the rich. I was going to do great things.
And we're 12 days out. This is probably one of the most serious elections that we have faced in our lifetime. My perspective, and I will be the kind of president who spends full time focused on the needs of the people. That has been my career. I have spent my whole career as a public servant trying to uplift the condition of other people, knowing what is possible and doing it with a sense of optimism. On January 20th, a new president is going into the White House. Mm-hmm. Period.
Yeah, period. Either way, no matter what happens, no matter who wins, a new president is going to be in there.
A new president is going into the White House. Do you want to look at the Oval Office and see a Donald Trump who's going to be sitting there filling out his enemies list?
I'm going to go after everyone that wronged me during the last campaign. During my last term in the White House, everyone that ever came against me, I'm going to go against them. I'm going to come after them. I'm going to be for the American people. I'm going to charge them. I'm going to sell my fake Jordans, and I'm going to sell everything. I'm going to sell those $2 money bills. everything I'm selling is going to be worthless, but I'm going to charge a pretty penny for it. Because if you want me in office, you want to support me, you'll pay for my merchandise. Donald Trump for president.
Spending full time figuring out retribution and revenge, or looking at the Oval Office.
But I was wrong. I deserve retribution. I deserve it. Because I was wrong and the election was rigged. I got to make sure everyone has to pay for what they did to me.
And knowing you have a president in there who's creating a to-do list that's about what to do to help the American people.
So raising minimum age of Social Security, that's not on the table for you.
No. Look, people work hard.
They should be able to. They should have to work to 70. They should have to work until they're my age. Until they're my age. That's the only time they deserve it.
All their lives. And they deserve to be able to retire with dignity. I'll tell you how I come at this.
By the way, if you're watching this on Rumble and you support Trump and you hate what I'm saying, I'm so glad. I'm so glad you can join me. Awesome. I hope you watch the whole thing.
At it from a number of perspectives, including thinking about how I was raised in terms of how you take care of the elders, right? I think about it in terms of taking care of my mother when she was sick and dying from cancer. So one of my policies, for example, is to help Medicare pay for home health care for seniors. Why? Because, look, I did it, and it means, trying to cook for an elder, to make something they feel like eating, right? To help them put on a sweater. And we have so many people who are in the sandwich generation. They're raising their young kids and taking care of their parents. And either they have to deplete their savings to qualify for Medicaid, right? To be able to help pay for home health care. Or they have to quit their job to do the work of taking care of their kids and their parent. And I just believe that's not right. That we should have policies that give people dignity, especially our seniors. So my plan is Medicare pays for home health care. Okay. And no, I would not raise the age of eligibility for Social Security, because the same thing. We shouldn't force people to work until they're 70 in order to retire and have a moment to just enjoy their life and not worry about how they're going to pay their rent.
Is Medicare for all a priority?
You have to work until you're my age. You have to do it. There's no way around it. I'm going to make everything better. I have no intention of doing that. She's lying to me. She's lying on my campaign. I have no intention of doing that. I can't say that when I get in the White House, but anyways, have no intention in doing that. Have no intention in implementing Project 2025. I didn't write it. I don't know who wrote it.
For you?
What is a priority for me is.
I hope y'all are really upset by now. I just enjoy trolling Donald Trump people because y'all like sucking it off.
Is making sure that access to health care is a right and not just a privilege of those who can afford it. That's why I am in favor of and have pushed and been a leader on capping the cost of insulin at $35 a month. And why I intend to allow Medicare to actually negotiate against the big pharmaceutical companies to bring down the cost of prescription medication for everybody. That's why I have fought for what we need to do around making sure Medicare covers senior care. Access to health care should not be a question of how much money you have in your back pocket. That's just not right. And I feel strongly about that.
Blacks for Trump.
Oh, Lord. I wanted to get to this before I close this thing out.
They feel that Trump is better.
Blacks for Trump are just... y'all are just sucking them off for no reason. Y'all don't have any... Blacks for Trump, they have no reason to suck them off. That's what gets me about black people that support Trump. You have no reason, because nothing he does is ever going to benefit you, ever. Nothing he does has ever benefited you. Only reason why you had anything, like I said before, is because of the Democrats were pushing for you while he was in office. He didn't want you guys to have anything. I had more money because of Trump. No, you had more money because the Democrats was helping, was pushing things. The Republicans resisted and fought against everything that was good for y'all. Blacks for Trump. Y'all just not. I mean, you're insufferable, man.
For the black community. Can you explain the Donald Trump's history with blacks? Where did this come that all of a sudden, I mean, it's been like this because a lot of people used to say, I'm Donald Trump of the ghetto because he was, I mean, for a lot of blacks, not all, but for some blacks, he was, Madam VP, whether we want to admit it or not, he's revered by some blacks.
But here's the thing. The question for everybody, should he be president of the United States?
Okay.
Right? That's the question. Should he have the ability to sit behind the seal of the President of the United States when he says he wants to terminate the Constitution of the United States?
Exactly. He wants to come. See, that was smart how she did that. Oh, she doesn't answer questions. You got, when you're running for president, you have to be careful how you answer questions. You have to be careful how you respond to certain things. You can't just I can't stand black folks. See, I can say it because I'm not running for president. I don't care who sees this or gets mad at what I have to say. I don't care about none of that. I don't care. I can say it. The black people that vote for Trump, you're just slobbing on this knob. I don't know why you're sucking them off like this. I don't know why you're slobbing this knob so hard, even though he does nothing for you. He's even been caught, had lawsuits against him for not serving black people. He said the black people were eating the cats and dogs. He said that about black people, guys. He said black jobs. But y'all still want to support him. Oh, no, he's not racist. He's not prejudiced. You guys are crazy. You have no reason to suck him off. I can say this because I'm not running for president. I really don't care. I don't care what people say about me because, frankly, it doesn't matter because it's internet. It's just internet. I'm not going to go viral anytime soon. And I'm glad I'm not because I get to say what I want on here. So, she can't say that, though, because she's running for president. When you ask her a question like that, she has to respond in a presidential way. She has to have a political educated response. She cannot, she can't say these things. She can't say what I'm saying. That's why I'm here. I say what people can't say. That's why I do what I do. Because I don't care.
You know what that would mean? In the Constitution of the United States is your Fourth Amendment right against unreasonable search and seizure. Your Fifth Amendment right. Your Sixth Amendment right to an attorney.
Well, a lot of rights.
And those things are beneficial to black people. So if you're black and you're voting for Trump, that's why she brought up the Constitution. She said, well, she can't say, well, you're black and you're voting for Trump, you're an idiot. No, she can't say that, but she says, look, would you vote for somebody that wants to terminate the Constitution? The Constitution protects black people. So would you vote for somebody that wants to terminate the very thing that protects you? I'm just saying. That's what you want to vote for. Now somebody started calling me names because I didn't want to vote for Trump. I said, well, they're creating Project 2025. They're going to take away all our rights. They're going to take away all that. They say, oh, you're just an effing N-word. The hard R. The hard R. Yeah. You're just an effing... You're just a, oh, you're a nigger. Oh, you're a nigger. You know what I'm saying? All because I brought up some facts. The Project 2025 is going to take away a lot of black people's rights to stuff. They're going to take away educations. Some of the education systems. Oh, you're just a horrible, oh, shut up, nigger. You know what I'm saying? That's what, I mean... Their true colors come out when you challenge them.
It's going to be gone. The First Amendment.
But the First Amendment, the Second Amendment. Yes. Look, I'm in favor of the Second Amendment. I don't believe we should be taking anybody's guns away. He wants to terminate the Constitution of the United States. He is the same one, like I said earlier, who denied rent to black families, who took out that full-page ad in the New York Times calling for the execution of those children.
He wanted to execute innocent black people. Innocent black teenagers. Oh no, he loves black people. No, he's done more for black people than anyone. He's an upstanding Christian man.
Terrorism accusations against the first black president. Not to mention please ask folks to Google Project 2025.
Yeah.
He would get rid of the $35 a month cap on insulin. We know how many of our seniors had it. I'll give you another example of why Donald Trump has not earned.
You can't mention Project 2025. I didn't write it. I don't know who wrote it. I think a Democrat wrote it. I believe they wrote it. Even though we wrote it, but you can't tell anybody. Shh. Nope. You can't say that out loud. I'm for the American people, but they rigged the election. They rigged the election and they have to pay for it.
The support of folks to be president of the United States again. When he was president the last time, during the height of COVID, 1 in 3 black Americans knew somebody who died from COVID.
Yep, pretty much.
You remember those days?
They tried, and the Republicans in Georgia and other states too, they tried to cut off the health care in the middle of the global pandemic. They tried to cut off health care.
I do.
And people couldn't get their hands on a COVID test. At that very same time, Donald Trump as president secretly sent COVID tests to the president of Russia for his personal use. While Americans were dying every day, he has not earned the right to be president of the United States. It's one thing if he has a television show.
Not to mention he stole a whole bunch of files from the government, like whole bunches, like a whole room full of files, secret files that shouldn't have gotten out anywhere. But he stole a whole room full of files. You know how many files can fill up a room? He stole all of that. Stole the files from the government, leaking information to other countries. Oh no, but he can't. You know, we're gonna ignore all of that. We're just gonna ignore it. We're still gonna vote him president because he's gonna make America great again.
That's very popular. He can put his name on a building, even though we all know he was not a terribly good businessman, which is why he filed for bankruptcy 6 times.
He didn't even own the building. He just put his name on it.
But that is one thing. To be president of the United States means to try and find common ground, to build consensus, to lift up the American people instead of trying to beat people down all the time.
And all he does is rag on America, how bad America is. Why would you vote for somebody like that talks about how bad America is, how terrible of a country it is, how horrible it is, how horrible things are here? That's all he does, rag on the country. You can listen to his speeches.
It means solving problems, which means you have to be able to get out of your own head and scan to be concerned about the well-being of other people and then do something about it. Does anyone think Donald Trump thinks that way?
No.
Yeah. Well,
A lot of black people do. The blacks for Trump, and the other people that suck him off of other races, that get and the people that get paid to suck him off. So yeah, there are a lot of people that yeah.
empathy requires you to divorce your own ego to see yourself as someone else.
That's exactly right. And we know that's not
Donald Trump cock blowers. That's what I say. That's what I call them.
his character. So it's about, is this the right person for that job, right?
He said immigrants are taking black jobs. I don't know what those black jobs that they're taking.
Exactly. Black job. What is a black job, guys? Can somebody explain to me what a black job is?
Can you elaborate on that? What the immigrants are taking? What black jobs are they?
Well, it's just another example of him trying to divide and him trying to scare people. It's just another example of him doing that, of him trying to say it's either you or them, right? Mm-hmm. And the other thing is that it's incredibly demeaning because, and he still has not been forced to define, Donald Trump, what do you define as a black job? Because let me tell you what I define as a black job. Vice President of the United States.
That's a good one.
Right?
President of the United States.
Right?
It is. I don't know about the pay.
Future President of the United States.
but it's a good job to have. That'll be.
Well, you know, not everybody is Shannon Sharp.
No, but you know what I wanted to ask? You've been in basically your adult life. You've been a public servant.
Yes, I have.
You've been AG.
My whole adult life.
You've been a DA.
Yeah.
You've been a senator. You've been VP. Is that what you envisioned? Is that what you always wanted to be? Was a public servant?
I've always wanted to serve. You know, I was raised, I mean, back to whether you are, however you are raised, in the community in which you are raised, including the church in which you are raised, I have always believed that it.
And I think that's all I wanted to cover here, because I just wanted to get into the political part of it, and because a lot of people that suck him off, because this is a senator, a former senator, VP, and yeah, she talks like she has sense to me. So, like I said, I understand everything she's saying. Just because y'all don't understand it, oh, she's concerning. The things she says, I'm concerned because you don't understand how she talks or what she's talking about. You're not educated enough to understand where she's coming from. Oh, she talks with nonsense. You just choose to slob on Trump's knob all of a sudden, all kind of ways. But if that's what you want to do, I don't care. I know I have education. I can talk with an educated way, but I choose to talk like this because I feel like it, because it's my content, it's my show. I can talk, a lot of people live on radio, I have to talk different, but I'm on a small YouTube channel, on a small Rumble channel. So, hey, but like I said, if you're on Rumble, I hope, you're forced to watch this whole stream. If you're a Donald Trump supporter. And, if you watch Donald Trump, if you support Donald Trump, good luck in the polls. I hope you all lose and everything like that, all that kind of stuff. But y'all make sure y'all vote November 5th. I'm not endorsing anybody. I don't care. But not saying, like I said, I'm not saying I'm gung-ho for Kamala. I'm not saying that. I'm gung-ho for America. Gung-ho for the Constitution being protected. Someone who's qualified to run this country in the way it should be ran. That's what I care about. It could be Joe if Joe Biden was still able to run. If anybody that's qualified to run the country the way it should be ran, that's qualified to give that gives people equal opportunities, that does things in the benefit of them, because the middle class the middle class gets flipped the biggest middle finger. They flip them the bird. They have to work their whole lives only to get nothing in the end. And it's just not fair. They have to work the hardest only to get nothing when they retire. And that's not right. I don't think it is. That's the stuff that I'm against. Middle class workers working their whole life to get like $1,000, $1,100. Like veterans working there, fighting to protect the country, to not have any benefits, to not be able to buy a home, to not be able to have any medical insurance. That stuff I hate. That's the stuff I'm against. Those are the things. I troll a lot and I talk a lot of trash, but I'm against that. People not having equal opportunity to do certain things. People not having funding when all the other nationalities and ethnic groups have funding, but black people don't have all those opportunities. They have everything going against them, but they're expected to do the same job and perform on the same level as everyone else that has all the other benefits. They're still expected to operate on the same level. I don't think that's fair. I don't like that either. You see what I'm saying? There's a lot of things that just aren't right. It's just not right about it. Because we have to do all kind of other stuff to maneuver around, and it shouldn't be that way. We shouldn't have to go through the back door. There should be a door for everyone to enter into, and that's not the way it is. We know it's not the way it is. And everything we do, we don't get credit for it. They give the credit to somebody else of another nationality. They always do that. She just told you about the checks where he just signed he stamped his name on it like it was his. So, I mean, I'm just saying, it's time for people to wake up. If you're still sleeping, or you're immoral, if you vote for Kamala, you're immoral. No, I'm voting for the Constitution. I'm voting for the Project 2025 to not be in motion, because they're planning on taking away the education. You could look at it and read it. Let's take it. You won't have any preschool, Head Start, any of that stuff. All that's going to be taken out. But the only thing we care about, the black Christians care about, they're gonna put God back in the school, but they won't have any preschool. They won't have any funding for a lot of things that people really need. Black people won't have a lot of the rights that we used to have. There's a lot of things in there that's going to go away. He wants to obliterate the Constitution. So if you're going to vote for somebody like that, and you know these things, that means you're that type of person. If you know this stuff and you choose to vote for him anyway, that means you're that type of person. You're right along with him. That's who you are as a person. That's who you are. And I mean, it is what it is. If that's who you choose to be, by all means, but be honest about it. Be honest. Just say, look, I don't care about black people. I don't care about helping anybody. I don't care about the Constitution. I want there to be a dictatorship. Just admit it. Just open your mouth and admit it. Because it doesn't even have to be Kamala. Anyone that's qualified to run the country, that's who I want in there. He's not qualified. He tried to incite a riot. Well, he did incite a riot. Ain't no trying. He incited a riot. He did multiple horrible crimes in the White House. He did a lot of things that was just abysmal. So if you want to support that and live with that and be with that, by all means, go for it. But no, I'm not going to support it. I ain't with it. I ain't behind it. I'm not supporting somebody that tried to overthrow the government. Someone that's just completely insane. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to support that. Not telling you who to vote for, but I'm saying I'm definitely not voting for somebody that's going to try to overthrow the government. I'm not with it. I'm not for it. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care how mad anybody gets. I'm not going to support somebody that wants a dictatorship. Okay, so no, never. So say what you want, believe how you feel. But anyway, that was that's all I had to say about this one. I'll be on to something else. If I see something else I want to talk about, then I'll talk about it. But other than that, if you're not for Trump, I hope you enjoyed the stream. If you are for Trump, I don't care. All right, good talk. Let's but I'm gonna get off here and so I can upload my content and continue the rest of my day. I gotta go pick up my sons and all that stuff. I'll be on to the next topic.